Folks, they said it couldn't be done, and honestly at this point it felt like it couldn't be done, but Payday 3's roadmap has finally released, formerly referred to as a summer roadmap. It's just called a roadmap update now. The main reason for that is that 3/5 of this has already been released via game updates. It's not ideal, but we're going to go over it, talk about what they've said is coming for the future of Payday 3, even though it doesn't go beyond October, which is obviously slightly concerning, but I will talk about that and why I don't think it's that worth worrying about just yet. But there's also a little bit I want to touch on from Starbreeze's company presentation, so a bit of an overall just summation of roadmap and future content for the moment. But as I always say by now, if you are new to the channel or you keep coming back and you haven't yet pressed subscribe, please press the button. I greatly appreciate it to help us get to that 40,000 subscriber milestone. And slightly unrelated, and you can always skip it if you want, but I just wanted to share something pretty cool. I was given an early access copy of Star Wars Outlaws. If you're a fan of Star Wars, which I am, then you might be intrigued by that. I am going to make a video on it on Monday when the content embargo lifts. I've been playing it since Tuesday this week, so I'm very excited to be diving into it properly to get a full review out for you. And it's just a general question. If you're interested in the video and you have any questions, things you'd like me to answer or cover in it, leave them down below. There will be a community post going out in an hour from the time this video goes up. Let me know if there's anything you want me to answer. I know most of you probably won't care, but like with Crime Boss and with Baldur's Gate 3, I'm just occasionally going to do videos on the games I like, and this is going to be something that I'm going to talk about as a review to open up a new possible avenue for talking about games as they're coming out, as well as games that I like. But either way, roadmap time, baby. Let's talk about it. So, as we see here, we have information for June, July, and August, all of which are updates that have already come out for the game. I did put out this tweet, and I know people are going to refer back to it, so I think it's better to just mention it here and say head on. I did say back in May that we got a peek at the roadmap early, and I have said in content since that I don't really remember a lot of it because for some reason I didn't screenshot it, but the thing that made me put this tweet out actually did happen, which was them saying in the meeting we were going to get 4 heists before September, or by September, sorry, not before. And that to me was really exciting because at the time that we'd seen this in May, it had been 5 months since Syntax Era. We hadn't had a single heist. So to go from no heists in 5 months to a heist every month effectively, that was quite exciting to me. So that still holds true, but I did say if they land this in actions max to words, we're really going to turn a corner. Whether we've turned a corner or not, I will leave it to you to decide. I think it's extremely unfortunate that this roadmap looked really good in May when we saw it. It didn't come out then. 2 very big updates that, aside from August's extreme bugginess and a couple of changes like that weird detection change, where now if you move in front of a guard, you're almost guaranteed to be spotted. But aside from that, the updates in June and August were really strong. So it would have been nice if they'd have been on the roadmap ahead of time, so you had several things to look forward to. Instead, all we have is this, September and October. In September, we're going to get Fear and Greed, as we expected, the final pack of the Year 1 content for Payday 3, with a heist, weapon pack, and tail pack, as per usual. New heister pack, they obviously don't say who it is, but based on Houston Breakout, it makes sense this is most likely going to be Houston, so he'll come to the game in the next update, which is good. I mean, it still feels silly he didn't come out with the last update, but 1 month later, I'll take it. It's not that big of a loss. We're also going to finally get a new Overkill Weapon, no hover over information about what that is, some new masks apparently, and also some new Twitch drops. The new masks could be new masks of the week. Bear in mind, we are nearly at the end of the second go-around of the mask of the week rotation, and Starbreeze did say, I believe, there will be a new mask rotation after that, I think. So I'm thinking that might be what that means. If not, maybe some just free masks generally? Who knows? Because they did say new masks here in the August update, and they were 3 free masks. And then October, the Year 1 edition, which is a paid thing. We'll talk about that in a second, but for free content, we get a UI revamp, server browser, VoIP, and new Twitch drops. UI revamp, don't know what that means. Could be talking about menu layouts, could be talking about in-game UI, could be talking about both, could be talking about neither. I don't know. This really could have done with a bit of explanation over it, but some kind of UI revamp is coming. A server browser, finally, we'll have some CrimeNet style server browser in Payday 3. It's about bloody time. And also VoIP, voice over IP, which basically allows you to have voice chat. But I really hope it does include console text chat, because that is one thing consoles really need. The ability to see PC text chat and also just interact with it and respond if they want to as well. It's sorely needed, and for me falls under this whole thing of communication and VoIP, so I'm hopeful they'll include it, but don't quote me. And then also new Twitch drops. So that's it. That's everything you got to look forward to for the next 2 months. The Year 1 edition, it's funny, I did predict this a little while ago. In fact, let me see if I can find out. Yeah, here it is. I put a poll up 4 months ago asking about this because I kind of saw it coming, imagining a Year 1 edition for the game. But my personal thoughts on this, it says paid content. I don't see how this would be any different than owning the gold edition of Payday 3. Unless they say there's something else included for this specific edition, which I doubt it. I think that'd only annoy people more who bought the gold edition. I feel like it's either going to be a rename of the digital storefronts instead of owning the gold edition, you've owned the Year 1 edition, or more likely, it's possibly what they're going to do a Payday 2 Crime Wave Edition, where after they went nearly 400 days without an update for the console versions of Payday 2 on Xbox and PlayStation, they put out a new physical version of the game that was called Payday 2 The Big Score Edition to try and get people to come back to the game, because a lot of people had sold the game because there weren't any updates coming. Maybe it's a physical release or a digital release you can promote, or both, to say, hey, it's been a year, the game's better now, come and check it out. I think it's purely a marketing thing, and I don't think for any of us who are still playing the game, it's going to bear much relevance. Maybe I'll be wrong, we'll see, but that's how I see it. This screams to me more like, it's like the Joker, it's about sending a message. It's not going to actually have any content that I think will be worth noting, but either way, we'll see what happens there. I mean, technically it'll be coming out after October, and this is part 1 and part 2 of an anniversary update. Do they think they're Marvel with Infinity War and Endgame? I don't know. But yeah, that's the roadmap. Nothing for beyond October, just September and October, and that's it. Not ideal. As I said in my tweet, like, we saw the early version of this when none of this had released, and if you'd given us the roadmap at that point, I'd have looked at all this and gone, this is really cool. This seems like a pretty good update for September. October maybe less so, probably because there's no new content like heists or whatever. But just generally, these 5 months are really good. Like, looking at this on a page, there's some really good stuff, regardless of things that went wrong, like Mass Mania, regardless of how buggy Houston Breakout's been, anything like that. Genuinely, looking at these, it is really good. The problem is, the roadmap didn't release until end of August, when the only 2 updates that are worth looking at are these 2. It's such a missed opportunity, and I know Almir said on streams that they wanted to make sure that when they release the roadmap, they could stick to what's in there. But that just feels like such a shame that, you know, they couldn't at least put it out and say, please note things are subject to change. In fact, oh, they do say that right here. I don't know. I feel like I'm just waffling, and it's just a disappointment because I feel like this could have been so much better. But let's talk about why there's nothing after October, because I do want to touch on this, and I imagine the people watching this right now who are wondering my thoughts are thinking that it means Payday 3 is about to die. They're going to finish with a Year 1 edition and that'll be it. The only reason I don't think that is because you have to remember that Plaion and Starbreeze have an 18-month contractual obligation to support this game. This game is legally contractually bound to keep getting support until March of 2025. However that takes shape, we don't know. Maybe there won't be any more DLCs, maybe there will be. Maybe there won't be any more free content, maybe there will be. I'm not saying this to hint either way, I'm saying that we don't know. What we do know is that support has to continue until March. So what that entails, I don't know. I think it is a bit of a shame that there isn't a future update section just to say, here's some things that are going to be happening, because Operation Medic Bag is meant to last until the end of 2024, so there's technically still some stuff in Operation Medic Bag that could release up until December. Okay, I just did some digging to do a bit of comparing, and if you actually look, you can see some things in the Operation Medic Bag blog that aren't mentioned in the roadmap when Operation Medic Bag is supposed to end at the end of 2024. These are 2024 improvement highlights. Progression's been handled, we're getting new content, UI revamp in October, stability and matchmaking debatable, server browser October, solo mode we've got, but offline mode we haven't, and that's not mentioned here. There's no offline mode mentioned, so that's got to hopefully come in November or December. In terms of the initial focus, we have seen everything here other than play again feature and vote kick. I don't think there's much else beyond here that we're missing. Perhaps control improvements depending on who you talk to. But you've got the in-game store. Hopefully that never happens. Unreal Engine 5 upgrade still hasn't happened. That's meant to be 2025. But if you look at the initial focus, again, these are the things they hoped they'd finish by summer 2024. Recurring smaller content drops is ongoing. Vote kick isn't in the game. Play again feature isn't in the game. Communication wheel with improvements maybe is in the game if you count the animations, but I honestly wouldn't. There are things here not in that roadmap that are meant to be coming by the end of the year. So that also gives me hope that we'll see more stuff in November and December. And as I've said, they're contractually obliged to support the game. So I genuinely don't think it's worth worrying over Payday 3 dying in the next 2 months. I don't think that's going to happen. Again, they're contractually obliged to go till March. But there is also stuff you can look at by investigating some of these blogs and figure out stuff that's missing that isn't mentioned here that has to still come based on their promises with Operation Medic Bag. And this also ties to the company presentation from Starbreeze that was put out just earlier this week. The interim report for quarter 2 of 2024 shares that there are upcoming releases in terms of Payday 3, including the Fear and Greed DLC for September, which you can see here. We've also got several planned updates, so you could count these 2 as the several, but several to me normally means 3 or 4 at the very least. Several updates, including Operation Medic Bag content, such as VoIP, revamped UI, server browser, and CrimeNet. Those 2 are the same thing, so while there's a comma there, I have no idea, but they're all coming in October, so that's good. But I take this as a more general thing. I take that as a general, more things are coming down the line, because they're showing you what's happened so far in terms of DLC and free content and what's to come. Basically, I'm saying don't panic. I think it's a shame that I have to even say that, because the roadmap should solve this problem. But they've been teasing it as a summer roadmap. It released at the end of summer, so it's not even a summer roadmap anymore. We look forward to what September and October have got to offer, and then hopefully before October we find out what's happening after that, and I'll keep you all posted as per usual as to what happens. Just adding this in here because there's been an interview at Gamescom happening right as I was editing this video with one of Starbreeze's staff members, and it showcases some stuff from Fear and Greed, the obviously heist we're getting next month, the final heist from year one. Talking about hitting the New York Stock Exchange, and go and watch the live stream if you want to hear them actually talk about it, but the only things to pull from it verbally are discussions about the roadmap, obviously, that you can see on screen. We've talked about that already, as well as a confirmation that the overkill weapon is the minigun. That's been confirmed. So there you go. It wasn't on the website for the roadmap. That's unfortunately, without being too cynical, that's classic Starbreeze lack of consistency in communication. Real shame there. But either way, it's exciting to know the minigun is the next overkill weapon. And then you can see more of these shots, as I said. And then all of a sudden, and as far as I can tell, there's absolutely no mention of it verbally, but all of a sudden, after all these shots are showed, we just get a random picture of, drumroll please, Houston's face. No fanfare, no nothing. He's just there. That's Houston. That's what Houston looks like in game. Dare I say it, possibly the best facial model for Payday 3? I really like that. He looks really cool. So there's your lock-in for Houston. We finally see what his face looks like. Should have seen it in Houston Breakout, but what can you do? It's still cool that we get to see it finally, so bit of extra information there. But that's everything I've got to say. There's not much else to report, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all very much for watching, as always. I think it's a shame that this roadmap that everyone was really excited for has ended up ending with a whimper and not a bang, at least from my perspective. I'm going to be really intrigued to see how the community handle this one, so please do let me know what you think in the comment section below, as per usual. I'll see you all very soon with some brand new content. Until then, look after yourselves, stay safe, and I will see you all in the next video.